Hey, if you consider yourself a nerd about grip history, or if you just want to hear some cool updates about the grip sport elite lifters, then stick around because thanks to the research of several people on the grip board and in the grip sport ranks, I've come up with a multitude of new lifters that are qualified as elite. But first off, let's go ahead and define what does it mean to be elite in grip sport. Well, around 2011, I came up with this. In powerlifting, between bench, squat, and deadlift, if you total a certain amount in each weight class, then you can be considered qualified as elite in your weight class. So at the time, I looked at some numbers, and there was only one lifter who had ever totaled 800 pounds between a max gripper close, a two-hand pinch lift, and a double overhand axle deadlift, and that was Jedd Woodall. He was the only one that had totaled 800 pounds. I had not totaled 800 pounds yet, so that's the number I went with. That's the number that stuck. So at the time, we did not have weight classes, so everyone, no matter what they weighed, had to reach the 800-pound mark. So in a historical sense, Jedd Woodall was the first elite grip sport competitor. As time went on, we decided to create elite totals for each weight class. So 800 stuck for the 120 kilo class because that was the class that I was in most often. For the 120 kilo plus class, it was 840 pounds. For the 105 kilo, 770. For the 93 kilo, 730. 83 kilo, 690. 74 kilo, 640. 66 kilo, 585. And 59 kilo, 530. And that's been since about, I don't know, maybe 2016. I don't really recall. Now, around 2014, as I recall, the sport kind of moved away from the two-hand lifts, and you saw the one-hand lifts on the Euro and the axle taking place more often. So someone came up with the one-hand total to qualify as elite. And I don't really have any information as far as who has totaled elite in their weight class for the one hand total, but I'm sure that information's out there, and a lot of people are much better at researching this information. So that may eventually come out, and I'll do another update. But the totals for the 120 kilo plus class: 507, 120 kilo class, 487, 105 kilo, 472, 93 kilo, 452, 83 kilo, 432, 74 kilo, 407, 66 kilo, 380, and 59 kilo, 352. I don't remember who figured those numbers out. It may have been Eric Roussin. And we do not have women's elite totals at this time, simply because there isn't a lot of data for women. But I imagine eventually in the future we'll get that developed. So let's go ahead and talk about who was qualified as elite in the past. So I went to the old gripsport.org website, and I found the list of competitors who had totaled elite. And I would suggest this list was probably compiled sometime before 2016. So in alphabetical order, these lifters qualified between 2011 and 2014. And remember, these were only people who qualified or who totaled 800 pounds. They're in alphabetical order: Aaron Corcorran, Andrew Durniat, Adam Glass, myself, Paul Knight, Tim Struse, Dave Thornton, and Chad Woodall. And for a time, these were like the best of the best in the United States and Canada. Well, Eric's not on there. I'll get to him in a moment. But these were the best of the best in the United States. You might not recognize some of the names, but they were perennial favorites in any contest that they went to. Now, I have information on Andrew Durniat's total. That happened at the United States Grip Championship in 2012, and he totaled 896, which is an incredible total. Keep in mind, the two-hand total for the 120 kilo class is 840, and there is no chance in hell he was in the 120 kilo plus class. So he was probably under 231 at that time. The great majority of the time that Andrew Durniat competed, he was under 105 kilos or 231. I believe the last person to qualify for elite was Paul Knight, if I remember correctly. That's neither here nor there. Eric Roussin mentioned that he lifted a total of 793 when he was in the 105 kilo class at the North American Grip Sport Championship in 2013. Now, we did not have the weight class numbers developed at that time, but if you were to retroactively apply his numbers, then he would have qualified as elite for the 105 kilo class, and I'm sure without a doubt today he would qualify as elite. His numbers have only gone up with an incredible axle number and a very, very respectable two-hand pinch. Now, in between 2023 and 2024, during that season, because you do not have to lift all three of these numbers in the same competition. It just has to be done in the same season. And in the United States, the season begins the day after Nationals and ends the day of Nationals. So Vinny Rivellese, across at least two competitions, qualified in the 83 kilo class with a total of 691. And then this past weekend at Worldwide Grip Battle Chasing Elite, where the main idea was to give the opportunity to people to qualify as elite in their weight class, we had six new people become qualified as elite lifters. We had Clint Ziegler, who lifted here in Wyalusing. He was in the 83 kilo class. He also totaled 691, equal to what Vinny Rivellese performed in 2024. Zach Mullins, who competed in Ohio in the 105 kilo class, lifted 770, so he qualified. Andy Muncie, who competed in his own venue for Worldwide Grip Battle, also in the 105 kilo class, lifted 795. Luke Raymond, who competed here in Wyalusing in the 105 kilo class, totaled 803. I once again qualified as elite in the 120 kilo class with a total of 815. And then Jason Dingy in the 120 kilo class in Ohio lifted a total of 840. Now, Ben Edwards on the grip board actually came up with a theoretical max elite total, because there was a little discussion of oh, and you know what? I missed Ben Helms. Ben Helms, I did not copy and paste Ben Helms into that, so let me pull that up right now. Ben Helms had the biggest total in this competition. He was in the 105 kilo class, and he totaled 893 pounds, almost 900 pounds. And if we go back and look what Durniat did in 2012, he had 896. So two very impressive numbers right there. The discussion became, wow, how high could this possibly go? So Ben went back and he pulled the numbers for the max gripper in our database, the max two-hand pinch in our database, and the max axle deadlift in our database. And he came up with Andrew Durniat's 206.6 gripper, Kody Burns is 274.8 two-hand pinch on the Euro, and Andrea Brixa's 485-pound axle deadlift in our database, with a theoretical total of 966.4 pounds. So, as you can see, across 3 lifts, there is an opportunity to produce a very impressive 3-lift total. So that's very interesting stuff. And as I'm recording this, I got a text back from someone else who I had contacted to see. It was Adam Glass. I asked if he remembered any of the information, and this is what he says. Jedd, I remember about when we did that. I will look back, as I'm pretty sure that contest is documented on Horn's site back when he used to track all sanctioned events. I want to say we used the Elite Standard in the 2012 season. I will get the exact numbers, but I'm remembering it being 433 on the axle, 244 on the Euro, and 185 on the gripper. So let's do some math. We got 433 plus 244 plus 185 for a total of 862. And that would qualify, if I remember correctly, 862 would be good enough for the 120 kilo plus class. And I'm sure Adam was most likely in either the 93 or 105 kilo class at that time. So that was by his memory. He's going to go back and look at it and see what he can find. But as you can see, there's so much information that just wasn't captured properly back in the day. And there may be ways to go back and find that. There are definitely ways to go back and find it. But it's tough to find information sometimes for past contests, especially going back 10 plus years. So I'm looking to document this on the Grip Sport International website. So stay tuned for that. I will, once I get that updated, I will put it in the GSI weekly newsletter. So if you'd like to be on the Grip Sport International weekly newsletter, all you have to do is email me at jedd.diesel@gmail.com, jedd.diesel@gmail.com, and I'll get you added right away. That goes out generally 2 or 3 o'clock every Thursday afternoon. If there's not a bunch going on that week, it might get skipped. Sometimes if I'm busy on Thursdays, it goes out Friday, but for the most part, it's a weekly newsletter. Naturally, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. And if you think that you have qualified as elite and you have not been mentioned in this video, especially if it was the one-hand elite version, make sure you leave a comment below and we'll get that verified and continue to expand this list. So thanks for watching, everybody. All the best in your training. Be sure to subscribe. Take care.